Welcome. Welcome to Kathleen's Kitchen. And today I am in the mood for a tofu scramble. So what is a tofu scramble? Well, keyword tofu. That's where you're going to get your protein from. In this case, just so you know, I work with lots of different plant-based foods where tofu isn't necessarily where I get my protein from. And that's a topic that we can get into for another time, where I can just run down all the different sources of where you can get plant-based proteins from. So what I'm going to do is show you right now the ingredients that are going to go into making our tofu scramble. So what we have here is our tofu, which is cut up and cubed. We have the coconut oil, which we're going to throw into the pan and get that heated up. And I'll be taking you over to see how that works in a couple of seconds. We have fresh garlic. We have some onions cut up. This is a small onion, would work very nicely with this. This is a red onion. And this is a bell pepper cut up. Small bell pepper works very nicely. I have zucchini cut up in small pieces, cubed. And there is spinach. It's about a cup of spinach. You can add more to your liking, and this is a little bit of dry parsley that I did myself. And then we have our tofu mixture. We're going to be keeping it simple with the seasoning, pepper, and sesame, which I like because it gives all the nice flavoring. You don't have to do anything. It's got a bunch of different spices in it that work very well, and you don't need to add any sodium any extra sodium to what you're doing. This is a sprouted grain tofu, which I found at Trader Joe's. I like the size because you don't have to worry about having an overabundance of this. This could actually serve up for 2 people or one very hungry person. So let's go over to where the our pan is, so we can get a look at what's going on over here, and that should work very well. So now I put in the oil, and the oil it's just a tablespoon, maybe a little more than a tablespoon of coconut oil. That's heated up pretty nicely. We're going to just turn this up just a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our onions and our peppers and get those going in this mix. So if I heat up just a little bit more, just want to hear that actual sizzle when it goes into the pan. So this is, for me, this is like, a lot of people like their eggs. For me, this works very nicely. Let's go over to here. And let's bring us down a notch. And let's see, that might work. Actually, no, that is not going to work. I really want you guys to see everything that I'm doing. Okay, so that's better. Okay. All right, you just don't see me, but that's okay. All right, so now I'm going to add our onions. Hear the sizzle. And now I'm going to add our bell pepper, nice green pepper. Wherever possible, use organic ingredients for the things that you're making. Flavor really pops. You can tell the difference between the conventional or the hot house things that have been forced to grow. And they tend to be not as flavorful and a little bit on the dense side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in the tofu so we can get some of that nice flavoring from the onions. Now, there are so many things that you can do with tofu. but this is one of my favorite things. This is my scrambled veggie tofu. Instead of the scrambled eggs, this is one of those things that I like to order when I go out to eat. Not everybody has it, but I happen to be fortunate enough to live in an area where there is a restaurant that has this on the menu. Makes me very happy. So you just keep stirring that around and let that saute up real nice. I'm using a medium heat. If you're using a gas stove, it depends. It might work where you can do a higher heat. It all depends on the element. I actually do prefer a gas stove, but I do not have gas hookup, so that's fine too. I've learned to adapt, and that's what cooks do. They learn to adapt. So as you can get a see on that, it's coming out really nicely. You can see the lovely peppers in that. So just gonna let that keep going. So what I'm gonna do to help the flavor along a little bit, I'm going to sprinkle on my sazon, and that'll also give it a nice coloring. Okay, and I'm going to add my pepper. I like it hot, hot. Okay, get rid of my waste, and I'm going to throw in my garlic. I did not cut them up. I like them whole. Sometimes you chop, sometimes you don't. So just keep this going. Now the trick with tofu is you want to drain the liquid that it's in. So you slit the package, slit it at the top, and then you just let that all out. Then you pull it back, wrap that in paper towels, and squeeze out as much of the liquid as you possibly can. And then it's ready for you to do amazing things with. That's looking really good. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is I have this dried parsley I'm going to add to that. Now I'm going to add my zucchini. I love zucchini. I love veggies, period. But I love zucchini. I would have to say probably one of my favorite vegetables, if I had to say, I actually have two, is spinach and kale. Never was a fan of kale until I got to be older. My mom wasn't a fan of kale, so we really didn't get to have it. But as I got older, I had a desire to learn more about different types of veggies and stuff, so that works out pretty nicely. And the next thing we're going to do is add our spinach. And we're going to just stir that all around. This is a really nice dish. You can add some chopped mushrooms to this if you like. You can get it really colorful with some red bell pepper. I'm using ingredients that I already have because I have also learned that if you have a few ingredients, you have a dish. You just have to let your creativity run with it. So I'm just going to let this saute up. But as you can see, it's a very colorful and very flavorful dish. And like with any scramble, you just keep stirring it around and stirring it around and stirring it around. so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this little spoon here. I'm just going to take out a little bit. Get a piece of that tofu on there. Switch this around a little bit more. So this is what we have. Just going to set that down for a minute. And I'm going to try this. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Tofu scramble, guys. You gotta try it. I'm happy to send you the recipe. Until next time.